Hello, I'm your host Jeremy Payne, and today for That Was History. So I hope that everyone will have a great Thanksgiving in the coming week. But today we are going to explore some of the history behind it and put a little spin on things. So the first of these would take place back in 1621 as the Plymouth colonists and the Wampanoag Indians shared the first feast as a celebration of thanks and gratitude. It is what everyone goes back to when they think of Thanksgiving. The Pilgrims and the Indians coming together to have a huge meal and giving thanks. Later in 1863, during the Civil War, President Lincoln would proclaim that a National Day of Thanksgiving be held every November. This would symbolize all that we have to be thankful for, like family, a place to live, food to eat, etc., etc. Let's take a minute and say that the Indians and the colonists never got along. This would mean that we would go on as a normal society and everything else in history would happen and stay the same, except that Thanksgiving would not be celebrated. How would this dampen your holidays? Is this something that would throw you for a loop and perhaps cause the population to be even greedier? I mean, we already have the Black Friday sales, which is the day after Thanksgiving, but I'm willing to take a gander at this and say that the sales they have every year would not be as big because there wouldn't be a day where they were actually closed and can open up for such an event. Most of all, would anyone really stop for a day to be thankful for all that they have? A lot of people nowadays want the next gadget that's out and upgrade as soon as it comes out. But you know, they never stop to think that they're privileged just to have what they have. My senior year of high school, I had the privilege to go on a mission trip to Nicaragua. Words cannot begin to describe the way that this changed my outlook on life. When I was over there, the family that was host to us in the church asked if they could borrow some of our water because they didn't have any themselves to bathe in or use for anything. Over there, most of the water is not on a plumbing system as it is here in the United States. The most refreshing part of our day was, though, however, to have a bath at night. After a long day out in the hot sun, we would go into a little concrete barrier that was probably twice the size of your average shower, and we would dip water out of a bucket and pour it onto ourselves. Now this water wasn't hot, it was cold, more like putting a bucket of ice with water in it and dipping it and pouring it on yourself. Now I bet you're thinking, I'm so glad that I had that hot shower to get into after a nice long day at work. Well, you know, you should be thankful for what you have because even the poorest of people in the United States are richer than half the world. I saw kids that were living by themselves in little houses made of stone with no running water, no heat, no air, no nothing, and they didn't even have parents. They were there to survive by themselves. In the United States, kids like this, they'd at least be able to go to an orphanage and have the luxury of running water, meals to eat, and a place to sleep, to mention the least. So let's go back over this again. If we never had the first Thanksgiving, then the world would be even greedier than it is today, more likely. People would want more and more and not care as much about what they actually have. We were reminded on Thanksgiving that someone actually founded our country and was able to make peace with the people that were indigenous to this, as we now know as the United States, and this allowed for the continuation of our life as we already know it. If you like the content today, please hit the like button below and also jump on over to our social media sites, Facebook and Twitter, and we'll see you next time, guys.